In this tutorial, we will be going through the key steps of making the checkered pilot hat. So the yarn that's used for this pattern is Madeline Tosh Vintage, but you can use a similar weight yarn. And in this example, I'll be using Mala Briggle and a Mission and a Puff hand-dyed yarn. They're of very similar weight, so feel free to experiment with your choice of yarn. Okay, so firstly, let's make a magic ring. Simply by wrapping the yarn around your fingers once or twice. I'm using twice here. And into this magic ring, let's do a chain stitch just to secure the beginning. And then let's make 6 single crochet stitches into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tighten the ring. From now on, we're going to do each round in a continuous manner, which is, instead of at the end of every round, do the slip stitch method and then do another chain as the beginning for the next one, we simply just start our next round. For example, this is the beginning of my first round. No slip stitch needed. I'm going to just start my second round here right straight away. So as according to the chart, I'm going to do 2 single crochet stitches in each of the stitch from the first round. And I'm going to put a stitch marker in the first stitch just to mark the beginning. Okay, so for the second round, 2 single crochet stitches into each of the stitch from the first round. We will have 12 single crochet stitches by the end of round 2. Okay, so that's my 12 stitches for round 2. Take down the stitch marker because I'm gonna be using it for the next round. And now I'm gonna insert hook into the beginning of the next round, yeah? And from the third round onward, I'm gonna start wrapping the contrast color into my working. So place the yarn across like that, and then make a single crochet stitch. And that's the first stitch of my round 3, and put the stitch marker back on. So for round 3, I'm doing single crochet, and single crochet increase. One single crochet, another single crochet, and a single crochet increase in the next stitch. Like 4 stitches a repeat. I'm going to do it for 4 times. So by the end of round 3, I'm going to have 16 stitches. And the important part of this round is I'm starting to carrying the contrast color as I'm crocheting. But this round, we don't have to change colors. So all we do is just start wrapping the contrast color into the working now. Okay. Okay, now I'm at the end of round 3. There are 2 points I want to point out here. First one is because we only increased 4 stitches in this round from 12 to 16, so you can see your garment is a bit kind of warped. That's fine because we're going to do a few rounds of very intensive increasing in the next few rounds, so that will flatten it out. You will actually become very wavy, like very wobbly towards round 8 and 9. It's fine too. And then because when we slowly decrease our rate of increase, then the shape of the hat is going to form. So don't worry too much now, or when the fabric gets a bit wobbly towards the edges, it's fine. Okay, so now we're doing the last stitch of round 3, and because round 4 starts in contrast color, so we need to do some prep work. So for the I hope you're familiar with tapestry crocheting, which is kind of like involving a lot of color changing. And then the key is before you make the color change, you need to do the last wrap in the color you're going to be making in. So for example, this is the last stitch of round 3, which is in main color. And because the next round is going to start in contrast color, I'm going to finish up the last stitch using the contrast color. Yeah, that's the only trick. So now you're ready to make round 4. Round 4, if you look at the table, is kind of like 2 single crochet increases, repeated 8 times. So the first 2, you will see it not highlighted in the table, which means it's contrast color. So I'm gonna do first one single crochets, increase. So 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and then another one single crochet, increase. But because the next stitch is gonna be in main color again, I'm gonna finish this one by swapping back my main color. See, I'll do that again. So repeat the pattern again. 1 single crochet increase, 2 single crochet increase, and finish this by substituting the last wrap using the contrast color. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward to the end and then have a look at the checkered pattern. But this is the beginning of the checkered pattern. So, yeah, I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay, so now I'm at the end of round 4. I'm just going to make the last single crochet increase. And again, because the next stitch is going to be made using the contrast color, I'm just going to finish up the last stitch using the contrast color. So you can start to see the checkered pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we had 8 of this beginning of squares. Okay, so the next one, in contrast color, the chart is showing 3x and a V, which means 3 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, and a V is a single crochet increase. So which means in the last stitch, I'm going to be making 2 single crochet stitches and finishing the last one by swapping colors. So each section went from 4 stitches to 5. That means from round 4 to round 5, we increase another 8 stitches. You go by the table, like read the table, what's under the column 1, how to increase for each section, and you repeat it for 8 times. And then I'll come back at the end of, because I'm making the children's size as an example, I'll come back at the end of round 7 to show you how you carry the same color from round 7 to round 8, because there is a checkered pattern color switching between those 2 rows. Okay. So now I'm at the very end of round 7 for size small. If you're doing the medium size, the theory behind it is the same. So after round 7, from round 8 to round 11, the checkered squares are going to do a color switch. So let's first finish the round 7, which is a single crochet, a crochet increase, and 4 single crochet stitches. And then now, if you look at the graph for round 8, it is colored, it's highlighted in red, which means you will be continuing the first section of your round 8 in main colors. That means we don't have to do the color switching at the end. We just carry the main colors through. And then round 8 begins with 4 single crochet stitches, a single crochet increase, and then 2 more single crochet stitches. So we simply do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet stitches and 1 single crochet increase and 2 more single crochet stitches. And then the next cell, the next section is in contrast color. Then we do the color switching at the end of the last stitch. So we do that. Okay, so we continue for both sizes. We finish, the step 2 crocheting in continuous rounds like this. Make sure. So what I do is now I just move the beginning of round stitch markers to the first stitch, like at the front, like this. So I know, every stitch from this stitch onward belongs to, this section, the first section. Okay, so and then as I mentioned before, you can start to see your the hat, the top of the hat is not perfectly flat. It's a bit wobbly towards the edges. Depending on the thickness of the yarn you're using, it could be much more wobbly than it is shown here. I was experimenting with a thicker yarn, this one, in my size medium, and it was very wobbly towards even round 11, which is fine because eventually as the rate of increase slows down towards the main body of your hat, when it calms down, the shape, the wobbliness will reduce significantly. So don't worry too much about it. Keep going. And then I think I covered the important part of this pattern. You just have to go step by step. Once you finish step 2, step 3, I'll have detailed instructions on how to do, how to go from round to then just row by row. And afterwards, you need to do a bit of breaking off yarn and starting a new section. And then I think I might do another video talking about the final single crochet stitches edging. And if you need instructions on that part, please leave me messages. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next tutorial.